Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the Dallas Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers NFL kickoff game and giving away my biggest takeaways and recap for this game. But before that topic, question for those of you, and comment down below, does this change your mind on the Dallas Cowboys winning their division? You might have already had the Cowboys winning the NFC East, but after seeing them this game in week one, does this make you that much more confident? Or if you had it being another team, Washington, the Giants, the Eagles, are you now changing your mind because the Cowboys, even though they did lose, looked like a very electric offensive team? So comment down below what your thoughts are on the NFC East after this game. Getting straight into it though, as you can see right there, the Bucs slipped by with a 31-29 2-point difference in this win. You could see by the spread the Cowboys covered it. The Bucs won the money line, but the over/under total points scored, both teams did cover that. This was a very intense game. It came down to basically the last seconds of Tom Brady under 2-minute drive. We've seen that time and time again. Whether you like him or not, you're going to have to get used to those because from 21 to 44, he always seems to pull it off. But some of the biggest takeaways for this game to me is Dak is back. By looking at the box score here, you could see he definitely brought the best he could. 58 pass attempts, 403 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's as much firepower as you're going to get out of anyone. Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, Brady, Watson. Dak put up some numbers that most quarterbacks, that's their ceiling as well. He reached anyone you could talk about, and Brady, he matched him as well. 379 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Even though, in my opinion, both of those interceptions were neither his fault. Same for Dak. This was due to a CeeDee Lamb drop that slipped through his hands and went to the cornerback, and then Tom Brady's 2 interceptions. One was just a Hail Mary at half, and the other one was an easy drop and catch, or catch and drop by Leonard Fournette that tipped the ball up. And again, neither of these quarterbacks I really think caused the interceptions on their own, but it is what it is. It goes on the stat sheet and the record books. However, you look at the run game, that was definitely not extremely present in this game. And we knew going in this game this was going to be a shootout. You know, you got 2 top 5 offenses in the NFL, arguably. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin versus Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. What do you expect out of that? Zeke, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones, they're just not going to get 20-25 carries in this type of game, in this type of shootout. 2 big takeaways is if you didn't think Amari Cooper's in the top 10 receivers, you may want to rethink. 13 receptions, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. I don't want to say carried this Cowboys team, but really was a key weapon to taking over. Now, the Cowboys, if you notice, did pick on the Bucs secondary a little bit. That's another small takeaway. Jamel Dean having to cover a top guy, whether it be CeeDee, whether it be Michael, whether it be Amari. He was struggling this game after Sean Murphy-Bunting went out with an elbow injury. Hopefully we'll get a little more updates on that. But it wasn't enough of a loss, and Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb were not enough to top Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Rob Gronkowski. AB is looking like Steelers AB. You could tell he looked like the best Buccaneers receiver yesterday. I do think we'll see a much better Mike Evans in week 2. I don't want to say he was a decoy this game, but he definitely wasn't, top 10, top 12, top 15 receiver by Mike Evans. Antonio Brown looked like the best player, arguably, in the receiving rooms this week, this game. You could argue him or Amari, but on the Buccaneers roster, I would still say he definitely looked the best, no doubt. So, AB being back, looking like he deserves a big, big paycheck in the following year. I know it's only one game, it's such a small sample size, but still to show he has that within him, whether it's week in or week out, to know he still has that within him, that's a good thing to have for the Bucs weapons and the Bucs odds this year, and Antonio Brown's paycheck next year. Another thing, there's 2 ways to really look at this game, in my opinion. You could look at it as Buccaneers, it was a close game, but really they let it be that close. There was one really big, I don't want to say huge interception, but the interception he threw to Leonard Fournette that resulted in an interception that turned the ball over, that changed the pace of the game. And then there were 2 fumbles that really changed the pace of the game. So the Cowboys got 4 turnovers technically, but the 1.5 Hail Mary doesn't matter. The 3 turnovers, though, all resulted in drives that cost time, that cost points, that just really threw off the Bucs rhythm. And if you take those away, and obviously turnovers happen in every game, but if you take most of those away, say if you just reduces from 3 turnovers to 1, this is a completely different ball game, and we can see the Buccaneers win this by 2 scores, or you could look at it as it doesn't matter what happened. The Cowboys came out fighting, and they fought 29-31. That was a good game. It doesn't matter how it happened or what happened. They put up the points, they put up the competition, and that's what matters at the end of the day. And I agree because that is football, and like I said, it's two perspectives, two ways to look at it. I'm not saying one is right over the other, but I just do think you can, not to oversimplify it, but you can, in a way, simplistically break it down to those two types of perspectives. Either way, this is exactly what I think everyone wanted in a Thursday night kickoff to the NFL season. I gotta say, I'm a Bucs fan, and I was really hoping they would put this game away and I could go to bed in the third quarter, but that just did not happen. This was a nail biter all the way. You literally had to watch it to the last second, to the last drive by Tom Brady. And I gotta say, I picked the Washington football team to win this division. I did, and I know it's only one game. I'm literally 1/16 of the way into week one, but I'm already starting to change my mind. Dallas is just looking like a top 5 offense, and what does give me confidence about the Bucs is the fact that this was a tough game for them. They went against one of the best offenses they're going to face in the NFL, and they still went toe-to-toe on offense while giving them many opportunities to win the game, and therefore that is why the Buccaneers are still going to be making a run at the Super Bowl. Both positives on both sides. This was the outcome I think a lot of people expected as far as at the end of the day who won, but how they won and how close it was and how hard the team fought and the amount of improvements all around. This was a big, big game for the Cowboys. I do really think this is going to be a team that can win. I was thinking, the winner of the NFC East was 9-8, maybe 10-7, but one of these teams like Dallas, they could come out 11-16, 12-5 now, and I would not be super, super surprised. So again, some of the biggest takeaways. Dak, he's fine off of his injury. There's a couple throws that were meh, but first game back, there's always going to be kinks, whether it was off an injury or not. Just week one, there are kinks. AB, looking like prime AB. Amari Cooper, putting his name on the map as a top 10 wide receiver, no matter if you like it or not. Run game was not present for both teams, I gotta say. However, even without that run game, I still hit 3 of my 4 Thrive fantasy bets. So if you guys are looking to make some money, clearly you should have listened in the last video of what I picked. But I'm gonna be giving more this weekend and next, so don't think that you missed out completely. And again, overall, the biggest takeaway is I think we could see these two teams very well match up again in the playoffs. I got to say, Dallas's defense, for the most part, did relatively good. There was a couple big plays that they really just gave up. Chris Godwin in the very end, you could argue that was a offensive pass interference, and I'm not against that argument. It was questionable, but still just small plays like that where they really needed a lockdown play didn't happen, or the big AB touchdown, just a straight-up burn route, nothing else to it. That's the part of the defense that is concerning, but I gotta say, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, those guys for the most part did look really good. Bucs defense, pretty much everything was on point in the front seven. Vita Vea was absolutely taken over. I like to see the rookie Joe Chiron in there, but the loss of Sean Murphy Bunting was very apparent with Jamel Dean just being picked on. I'm sure they'll make adjustments. Todd Bowles is a great defensive coordinator. Sean Murphy Bunting could be back next week. I'm sure this team will be fine. But there's definitely a couple takeaways and definitely a couple things you want to look at after watching this football game. But you guys tell me anything I missed. For the most part, I think that's all the general stuff. I didn't go deep down into the numbers of exact catches and exact yards for every single player. But for the most part, like I said, if you missed the game, those are some of the biggest takeaways to me. But like I said, let me know. And for my question today, comment down below, who do you have winning the NFC East, and does this change your opinion on the Cowboys? I had Washington winning it, but after this one game, I might be changing my mind to Dallas. I have to see Washington in week one against the Chargers to make my final call. Am I switching already? But I'm already leaning towards that way. We'll just have to see. As always, and of course, guys, thank you for watching. 2 in the morning.